Turn that damn roof off!
Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome in Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. We're going to have a lot of things to get to today when it comes to all the things with the Razorback basketball team. Of course, we'll have a little bit of what to watch presented by Bryant Technologies, what's more likely with Bet Saracen, an SEC update presented by Rhoback, our Alumni Hall question of the day presented by Alumni Hall, which we'll be at tomorrow for Inside Arkansas Live. And, of course, we'll get to your chats, too, folks, here on the conversation. Still no phone lines because I still don't have luggage. So it's going to be fun to see how this continues to go. But, fellas, how we feeling here on a Thursday coming off of not one, but 2 wins in a row for the Razorback basketball team?
Buzzing, man. Yeah, still feel really, really good after last night. I swear me and Andrew could have done a 3-hour post-game show last night. I mean, there was still a lot to talk about. The chat was going crazy. That was a blast, man. It's just better when this team's playing well and people are excited and locked in. That's the Captain Obvious statement of the year. But no, man, feeling really good. And, with your luggage situation, it saddens me, John. I've got a pit in my stomach for you, but maybe we found the culprit, maybe we've identified the villain here. I don't know. But there's some things that you're just not going to be able to replace, but maybe United will compensate you for your losses in the end. We'll see.
Yeah.
You know what United can't compensate you on, and what they can't give to you? Precious quality quad 1 SEC road wins. That's what the Arkansas has gone and picked up 2 of. It just feels good. I said it yesterday that I feel like this fan base is ready to kind of wrap their arms around this team and really embrace them. And it's just a lot more fun. It's a lot better when we're all in this mode rather than arguing amongst ourselves, talking about Sam Pittman, talking about does Coach Cal still have it, all these stupid things. It's just nice to talk about the games and be excited for the games. And we're better when we're in this mode for sure.
Yeah, and as far as the code for the luggage, there's a few DMs I had to report from certain fans of certain teams that Arkansas played in Lexington this past weekend. And, man, it was pretty nasty, pretty awful. But that's okay. I'm sure I'll be compensated. I'm sure it'll go completely fine with no problems whatsoever when it comes to United and everything. The hardest thing was having to go through and do inventory in my head of the stuff they had lost so I could file a claim for it. That was tough, trying to remember everything that I had in there. So that was a lot of time, but hey, don't worry. Surely it will be okay. And it'll happen. It'll happen. I'm just learned a valuable lesson. And folks, I'm going to tell you right now, stop telling me to get air tags. I know. Like this amount of every single day I got somebody just be like, you should really air tag your luggage. Shut up. I know. Like, stop it. It's like when my truck got keyed and I was like, man, that truck got keyed. They're like, you really need to get security cameras. I know. So please, thank you. I appreciate the advice. I'll get an air tag, or maybe they just don't lose my luggage. That's all I'm going to say.
Our man's going through it, Andrew. He's going through it.
It just sucks because it's like not only all the equipment, but like something like, for instance, guys, our tablecloth, our really nice tablecloth was in that suitcase.
Oh, so, that just pissed me off.
Yeah, like when we go to Alumni Hall tomorrow.
We're going to be naked at Alumni Hall?
Yeah, everyone's going to see our legs through the table. It sucks. So, just stuff like that. It saddens me. It saddens me, but that's okay because like the Razorback basketball team, we're not going to let a few losses get in the way of what we're doing and our accomplishments and our goals. And so we're going to keep moving forward. But isn't it great to see Arkansas, of course, going down into Austin, Texas, and get that victory? I know Pot at the Pals post game was awesome last night. Shout out to the guy, Mark Arnold, for a $500 super chat. That was the most absurd thing I've seen. So thank you so much for that. Awesome stuff. It's just so funny because, I know it's awesome. We always appreciate it, but man, just $500 is a lot of money. I mean, that's no chump change.
That's gonna pay off my my therapist invoice for what this basketball team had been doing to me up until this point. So I appreciate it. My goodness.
Facts. Yeah, big facts. But Arkansas winning 78-70 last night over Texas. That's now 2 in a row. And you have this team called the Alabama Crimson Tide coming in on Saturday to Bud Walton Arena, which nobody wants to lose to. Arkansas has not played them in some time. And guys, it was at 7, but now they've moved it to 7:30. I guess just, I don't know, maybe because they started seeing, man, we can't get all these games in 2-hour spans. So maybe they're moving it back for that reason. I don't know.
If I understand correctly, it's Luca's fault.
Oh,
Like
is it really?
they're trying to keep a window or whatever to be live for his debut, which they're anticipating, I guess, to be Saturday. I read that in a couple different places. Now, I don't know if that's 100% true, but it makes sense.
It is, because whoever it was that was supposed to be on ESPN got moved. I think it was Auburn's game, got moved from ESPN to ESPN2. And then now Arkansas is in that late ESPN window. But either way, I mean, I think this is actually good news for Arkansas in terms of eyeballs.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, can we issue an apology?
Sure.
Did y'all see that Duke, North Carolina turned out to be the highest watched game of the weekend?
Did it really?
I think it was it was either number 1 or number 2 for the entire season on college basketball. Arkansas is the 4th high. Arkansas, Kentucky was number 4, the highest of the entire season. And obviously those games went right into one another. Like the Duke, North Carolina game went right into Arkansas's game. Turns out Duke, North Carolina did more numbers. So,
dang,
I'll
my bad.
tip my hat to ESPN. They had the right analytics.
Well, it's just, if just more people cared outside the state of Kentucky and Arkansas would have had higher ratings, though, if only people cared about that game. But yeah, that was a little surprising, but still 4th highest. I would have said it would have been 2nd, but again, it shows you got to follow the numbers on that and the ratings in it. But I did want to play this video, guys, before we really get diving into and get to your chats, because I know we see some super chats already. We'll get to those. Thank you so much. But post-game locker room with Cal, man, cracks me up every single time.
Right there, I'm feeling good about you know what I said at halftime? I love coaching this team. Right there on ESPN. They're playing so hard. I'm so proud of them. They're defending. I love coaching this team, and I do. And you know what? We haven't even touched how good we can be. To do the stuff you did on the road with a team that had won like 3 out of 4, that thought they were, you punched them in the throat to start the game. How about my man playing?
Please don't hurt him.
I'm loving coaching this group. All right? And I'm telling you, you don't know who's going to do the things to help us win. How about Billy, the play? Come here, Billy. Give me something. 1,
2, 3.
All right. So, like, dude, there's so much in that. But though, I love this team. I'm dying. I'm
Said
dying.
It right there on ESPN.
That was a little zesty, and it was amazing. The best part about it was when the camera panned to Nelly and Z right after that, and they're just kind of like, but you know what? That's genuine, man.
Yeah.
And you just love it. And he says it over and over, and it doesn't feel fake. It doesn't feel manufactured. And those guys feel that, so that's really cool. I love that he went from, I love this team, to you punched him in the throat, cool stuff. And also, and I already started to chat about it, but we need to get it out of the way because it's fresh on people's eyes. That jacket. Woo, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
That jacket.
We successfully bullied Cal into having great wardrobe to looking just absolutely dapper and locked in, covering the Razorbacks and representing the red.
His fit last night is almost as good as yours is today, Andrew.
Almost.
I mean,
almost. Yeah. I mean, once you get something like this going on, it's pretty good. I guess I need to like stand up so you can really see that it does in fact say Arkansas on the front. And so I wanted to show that off a little bit, but I love seeing clips like that. We always, we get to see the team, and it's not there's only 12 basketball players. So we always feel like there's a personal connection. And we always, the fan base certainly feels more connected to the team, but you need the team to have that, like in the locker room when nobody's watching other than a few cameras, them to have that camaraderie and them to love each other. And you can definitely feel that building in a very big way. And it's just cool to see these guys having fun. All of them. They all look like they're having fun wearing that Razorback red.
Yeah. And it didn't seem like that for a long time. And it's amazing what winning can do for you, obviously. But, man, Arkansas's won 3 of their last 4. And should be 4 of the last 4. But we won't talk about that. It's in the past. But now you're in a position to really start making some noise. And I know that you tweeted out, Curtis, but Joey Brackets, the lowest from Joe Lenardi here, if you're looking at it, as Arkansas moving up to the first 4 out. Just yesterday, they were the bottom team in the next 4 out. Now they're the top team in the first 4 out. Maybe they do it by alphabetical order or something. I don't know, but you're right there. Now you are officially a bubble team. Can we say that? Can you say you're a bubble team now?
Yeah, yeah. If people were still pushing back against that, we can definitely say it now. They're one of these bums, loses and they're in. That's where they're at this point, and it's pretty cool to see that. I've seen a handful of updates that got them in the first 4 out. I've seen a handful of updates that have Arkansas in the field as of now. So they're as bubblicious as you can get right now, buddy. And it's exciting. I can't stop thinking about what Andrew was talking about yesterday, where you kind of missed this because Arkansas has either been out, or very much in. And we haven't been living life on the edge that much. And, I would prefer if they were undefeated in a 1 seed right now, but there's something to be said for the level of angst that you feel in your belly every day when you get up and look at these things. It's pretty neat.
It definitely is cool. And I'm definitely going to have the numbers memorized. Like I know Arkansas now is number 44 in the net,
Yes.
which would have expected maybe a little bit more of a bump, but still 44 is a good spot, especially considering what Arkansas's had to endure to get there. And you just look over one column over the last 4 in, and you see Vanderbilt sitting there, a team that Arkansas is going to have a bout with later in this year. Obviously, they're going to play that Texas team again. They're going to play a ton of teams that are kind of in this bubble mix. And so it's going to be fun to kind of see Arkansas navigate it all, and they control their own destiny. And of course, you always control your own destiny in the way of, sure, you could win out. Sure, you could win the SEC tournament. But if you look at Arkansas's schedule and you circle a couple games, there's some very real shots for Arkansas to make some things move and shake here a little bit. And it's not as crazy of a path. Whereas a week ago when Arkansas was playing poorly and they were 1-6, it was like, okay, you're going to have to beat this team you're not supposed to beat this team you're not supposed to beat that team you're not supposed to beat. It gets less and less crazy as the days go by. I think Arkansas did a lot of the hard work this past week. And so now you look at it and you're like, can you win in Nashville? Can you maybe beat Texas at home? Can you beat Mississippi State at home? Like, these are games that I feel like Arkansas is going to be right in, and it's definitely exciting. And I think for the fan base, it definitely gives them something to look forward to. And
if you're a college basketball nerd like I am, where you're not doing anything better with your life on random days when Arkansas isn't playing, you're watching, some mid-major game on the Ocho or what basketball's on the WB. What the hell's going on? You got a lot of teams now. You just look at that list and you know who to hate watch every day. If you just want to watch some ball and you want a reason to care, now you got a list of about 12 teams that you get to hate watch. Congratulations.
Oh man. And see, this is what it's doing. It's giving me hope. It's giving me belief that I'm coming around to it. I'm like, guys, Arkansas could beat Alabama on Saturday. I mean, that's where I'm getting to. And I'm scared. I'm nervous about that. I'm nervous about that feeling. But I'm curious, when the line opens with Bet Saracen, where do you guys think Arkansas will be? Because I was a little surprised to see Arkansas as much of an underdog against Texas as they were. But against Bama, what are you guessing? At home, maybe like a 6.5, 5.5, something like that? Point underdog?
Yeah, maybe so. 5.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think 5.5, 6.5 makes sense. I think Arkansas is a team that Vegas just doesn't know what to do with. Where they were clearly calling BS after the Kentucky game a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Bama should be like a double-digit favorite on the road in Bud Walton, and what we expect to be a real Bud Walton, not just a midweek non-conference Bud Walton, a real Bud Walton. It's going to be interesting, and plus, like, Bama's coming off, they're going to not have played for a while. I don't know. It's definitely intriguing. I think Bama they score so much. So I feel like that's going to be weird with the numbers. I'll be interested to see what the over-under is for total points. Could be like 160. Yeah,
I think so too. And this is just an obvious thing. Show up to the freaking game and be loud, Hog fans. It's not going to get any better than this right here. This is the best feeling you've had in a long time with your basketball program. You're coming off of 2 big wins on the road, and you got the number 3 team coming to your house this Saturday night. The weather's going to be nice. No excuses. I need 19,200 plus there. There better be. None of that stuff about any excuses. Pack the mud, show up, be loud, and help this team win.
I have a feeling Razorback fans understand the assignment here.
They should.
I think this is going to be a throwback, a vintage Bud Walton. All the cliches we've ever said about Bud Walton in the past of, boy, when it's at its best, it's as good as any place in the country. Oh, when Bud is rocking, you better be 10 points better than the Razorbacks to get out of there with a win. I think all of those things are going to be true on Saturday. If they're not, I'm going to go on an epic run of throwing folks under the bus. I don't think we're going to have to. I think it's going to be crazy.
Well, if it doesn't happen Saturday, it's just not happening this year. I mean, I think the Mississippi State game, by the time it rolls around, that's going to be another like big time game for Arkansas's bubble hopes, and NCAA tournament hopes. But I think like top 5 opponent, was a top 3 opponent Saturday, great time. Baseball season hasn't started yet. Football season's long over with. There's pretty much nothing else going on. I think it should be one of those where it's pretty easy to get up for this one. And so we'll see.
Let's get to some of your chats. Got a few super chats, definitely. Our friend Joy to the World, Kentucky fan. Appreciate
Glad you're still here.
She says, sharing a little of my winnings last night, betting on the Hogs to win. That's good.
Get that money line at plus 260 or whatever it was. That's
yeah, man. Yeah. I was this close. With Saracen last night. I bet the plus 2,000 of somebody else to hit the first 3 besides the starters. The first 3 attempted was by Trevin Brazil. He almost got it for me if he just would have made it, but he didn't. So, but I did win on betting on Arkansas plus, I guess 4.5 is what it was, or 5.5, whatever I got it in at. So
I got the DJ Wagner first points.
That's
and
good.
I wish I would have doubled up on first points and first 3 when he back ironed that one. It bounced like 8 feet into the air and then dropped in. And he finally got it, but I wound up going with Carter because I said it on the broadcast here. He didn't come through for us.
Yeah,
I just went Hogs money line, and it was the move, and might just be the move the rest of the season. Hogs money line might just be an auto bet for the rest of the year because the numbers are going to be pretty good. I mean, this weekend they're going to be plus 250 again. I think it's just an auto bet at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you. Our guy Cade, appreciate super chat. Cade says people say we're better without Boogie, which is true. We were 0-5 with Boogie and 3-1 without him. Boogie never shot over 50% in conference play and his high usage and low efficiency was hurting us, says Cade.
I mean, you can't argue with that. And again, like I don't think it's a fit thing and not a player thing. This has just changed everyone's roles. Like it just turns out that DJ Wagner is better in the point guard role, which I didn't know that we would say. And Nelly Davis is better in the role that DJ was in, where he's the guy running off all of those screens and being the secondary ball handler. That it's just shifted everybody around. We didn't know how it would work, and it's worked out for the best. But yeah, Boogie in SEC play he was very inefficient, high volume. All those things are true. He was also hurt for the last 3 games of that, which probably impacted it. I do think that had Boogie still been around, I don't know if Arkansas would have gone on the run they did here. Maybe they would have beat Oklahoma and then they would have lost one of these games, on the road or something. I do think there would have been a better version of Arkansas than what we were seeing. Like he would have settled down. He would have started playing better. I have no doubt because he's a first-round NBA talent. But they've definitely found something in his absence. There's no doubt. I wonder how he feels over there on the bench. Like, honestly, he's happy for the team and everything. He's upset that he's not able to play, but there's no way he's not watching it going, dang,
I mean, it's not terribly dissimilar from what happened to Arkansas with Nick Smith Jr. Now, Nick Smith was a little bit different because he didn't play a ton, even during non-conference. He only played a handful of games. But, I mean, I think that when Nick was out, the team eventually kind of found something, and it took them a similar amount of time to finally find something. And then when you saw Nick Smith come back, he was doing everything he could to try and just find his way in that rhythm. He was forcing things less, and his offensive usage was way lower than I think many would have ever guessed it would be once he came back, because I think he understood, I just need to find a way to help this team win, regardless of what my role ends up being. And so it is just very interesting. I think there's no doubt about it. Arkansas is playing better. Boogie Fland is not there. Those two things are objective, undeniable facts. The argument, I feel like, is whether or not it's a direct cause and effect. And really, I just think it's not that black and white of a thing of like, Boogie's gone, Boogie bad, now Arkansas good. I think it's just a combination of things, kind of a perfect storm. And the real question would be, could Boogie return to action and just fit right in with this team? I think it would probably take a little bit of an adjustment, but I don't want it to be as simple of a story as like Boogie was holding Arkansas back, and now that he's gone, they're awesome. I think this team, regardless of Boogie's situation, was going to have to make some real changes to go on this run. They made some changes, and I think his injury kind of helped accelerate that process. But I think this team would have definitely been playing different basketball regardless. And it's just that time of year. We've seen Arkansas the last 4 of the last 5 years, right around this same time period, they start to play pretty well. Cal's team at Kentucky last year, right around this same time frame, started to play really well. And so I think some of that was probably due to happen regardless. But I think there's no doubt that this Arkansas basketball team has found something, and Boogie Fland has not been a part of it.
No, I think it's a good point. I think it's a lot more complicated than, like you said, and some people try to look at it through that lens of just bad player gone, things good. There's a lot more to it. And sometimes it forces other guys to have to step up, like where it's, I'm not saying this has happened with Nelly Davis, but there could have been something as simple as, well, when Boogie went out, there's almost like this added pressure, this added like people turning to him and be like, hey, you have to step up now. And then someone flourishes in that role. So sometimes, again, it's just funny how sports can go, and especially when it comes to injuries. Shout out to our guy, JP. Appreciate Super Chat, JP. Says, ponder this. UConn and Kemba Walker won it all as a 9 seed. Not impossible to think about. So you're saying there's a chance. LOL, woo pig, fellas.
I'm not going to go there in my mind until they beat Bama this weekend.
Yes.
Yeah,
if they beat Bama, man, I'm going to say some stupid stuff on the show, guys. I'm just going to be honest.
I think UConn, the Kemba Walker UConn team was definitely weird. I think even the Shabazz Napier UConn team that beat Coach Cal and an 8 seed Kentucky in the title game, I think they were even like a 6 or a 7 seed. So the precedent is there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but hey, Jim Calhoun ain't walking through that door. Just saying. No, I wish he would. Well, actually, I guess one of them was Kevin Ollie. Yeah.
Kevin Ollie.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Wait, was the Napier one with Kevin Ollie, but then
Yes, I think the Kimball one was Calhoun.
Okay. All right. Just wanted to make sure there. Sean, shout out to you for another super chat, man. Appreciate you. He says, Arkansas beat number one Auburn back on February 8th, 2022. And now it's Bama's turn on 2/8/2025.
Whoa.
I didn't realize that. Wow.
Whoa. Good pull.
Okay. Yeah.
Man.
Well done.
Was that really that? I thought for some reason I thought that game was in like late January, but maybe
for some reason I thought that Auburn game was in like March. It was like right leading up to the season, but I guess not.
Yeah, well, still, that would be pretty awesome though if they ended up doing that and taking care of business and winning that game. Let's see a few other chats here too. I like this from Finch. He says, "I ain't gonna lie, I had a good chub going when we got 20 up. Did kill it after some of our bad decisions and the refs doing their best to give it away though. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you."
That was some of that was egregious last night, man.
Oh, it was so bad, so annoying. And I've said this before. I hate the officials no matter what, but when I see Curtis tweeting about the officials, I know it's real. I know the criticism is warranted because Curtis ain't that guy. He ain't that guy that just thinks that the other team's getting all the calls or anything. Curtis says it's got to be true.
Trey Johnson doesn't need the superstar treatment. Like, he's good enough. If he took a dribble and it's a foul, man, it was crazy. And I know people look at it at the end of the game and be like, well, but Arkansas wound up shooting 8 more free throws or whatever. Yeah, all that is true. But what it did was killed the momentum. It took Arkansas's ability to be as aggressive defensively as they were in the first half away. And it allowed, it literally paved the way for Texas to make the run that they did. It absolutely had an impact on the game. And Arkansas did commit some really silly fouls down the stretch. Carter Knox did the one 90 feet away from the basket. And it's like, bro, why? Nelly Davis, like, you're up, 10 or whatever with 2 minutes left, and he's gambling a passing lane. He gets a foul, puts him on the free throw line. Silly stuff like that they didn't need to do, but there were just some phantom calls. Like Thero's 5th foul. What did he do? Blocked that dunk. It's like, huh? What happened? What did he do, man? Just random stuff off the ball. It was maddening. It wound up being a 3-hour game almost because of that crap.
Yeah. And what really sucks is, like, I kept looking at the rest of the Arkansas schedule. All their games are just so late, at least the home ones. Like, you think like 7:30 for Alabama on Saturday night. Then you have an 11 a.m. or then you have LSU at 8 p.m. Next week. Then you have A&M's an 11 a.m. Saturday game, but then the Auburn game on the road is at 8. Missouri at home is at 7. Texas at home is at 8. And then you have the Vanderbilt game at 9. That's 9 p.m. Central Time, by the way, the Vanderbilt game. 9 p.m. Central Time. So it's just like, golly, hopefully the foul calls get lessened a little bit so they can play a game that's not going to last 18 hours or whatever. So I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and get into your question of the day presented by Alumni Hall. We're going to be at Alumni Hall live starting at noon tomorrow at 3417 North College Avenue. So for those of you coming into town for the Razorback basketball game, the big one against Bama, I know there's a gymnastics meet that people are going to be going to. It's a big Razorback weekend in Fayetteville. There's no other place that you need to go than to stop by Alumni Hall and get your ultimate Razorback shopping experience. They got everything in stock, ready for basketball, gymnastics. They even got baseball gear, the new hats, the new jerseys, everything there at Alumni Hall. So you can shop them by coming and hanging out with us tomorrow at noon, or you can shop them online at insidearkansas.com/Alumni Hall. It's Alumni Hall, the ultimate Razorback shopping experience. Now that Nelly Davis has kind of put it together, simply ask the question of, can you count on Nelly Davis now for the Razorbacks? Can you count on him? Which I know people may have different definitions of that, but it's a very simple thing. Can you count on him? The choices were yes, no, maybe, I need to see more. 61% of you say yes.
There we go.
Now count on Nelly Davis. Only 36% said maybe, I need to see more, but only 3.5% said no. So that is amazing how playing well can change everybody's minds on a player. Because if I asked that question about a week or two ago, I think it would have been a little bit of a different answer.
Well, I mean, he looks like a completely different player than what we've seen all year. He looks like the guy that he was, and the guy that was the top ranked transfer in the portal. We know all that stuff. The reason I'm confident in it is because now that we've seen it, it's not an aberration. It's not like he hasn't done this his entire career. And he's going to have some games where he's not as good as he has been the last couple. That's just part of it, the ebbs and flows of basketball. But when he struggled at Florida Atlantic, sometimes it would be turnovers. Like he just tried to do a little bit too much, get turnover happy, some decision-making things. That's what you have to look for. But in terms of his shot making and everything, I feel pretty decent about that staying mostly solid. He was one of the most efficient players in the country last year, like the elite of the elite, getting that 50-40-90 club where you're 50% from the field, 40% from three, 90% from the free throw line. Not many people do that. And he was this close to doing that last year. He's always been efficient as a shot maker and shot taker, and he's had the ball in his hands a ton while doing that. So I feel pretty good about his ability to take good shots, make them, be pretty good about getting you points on the board. You just want him to stay under control a little bit, because sometimes with the swag comes a little bit of reckless abandon there. That can be a good or bad thing. And it's cost him at times in the past, like in the NCAA tournament against Northwestern last year. He made some huge plays, scored a bunch of points. He had 9 freaking turnovers in that game. That's the stuff that you definitely need to reel in if he gets cooking a little bit too much on the aggression standpoint of things.
Yeah, one of the biggest differences, I mean, it's just a very simple one. His volume the last 3-4 games has just been consistent. He's taken a lot of shots, and it's been consistent. Whereas early in the year, we just never knew what his usage would be. There would be games, he had some nice moments. He would have some games where he'd knock down 3 or 4 threes, and then he'd be 0 for 4, or he'd be 1 for 5. And then he'd take 10 shots. And it was just kind of, his role was ever flowing and ever changing. And then since Boogie's gone out, again, I'm not blaming Boogie, but his volume of the amount of shots he's taken has been higher. And you've seen from that more freedom, more confidence coming from Nelly Davis. And I like the point you made there, Curtis, about it being an aberration. If you look at Nelly Davis's career, these last 3 games or so, and you take it in, now the outlier is his first 20 games at Arkansas. Mm-hmm. That's the outlier. Like these last couple games are not the outlier when you look at Nelly Davis in his career. To your point, he's got a pretty consistent track record of when he gets consistent shots, consistent touches, and consistent minutes. He's a pretty effective offensive player. And again, like the last few games, it's been the volume's been there. He's been very efficient the last 2, even against Oklahoma. I don't know what he finished from the field. He wasn't nearly as efficient, but I liked a lot of the shots he took. He made a huge 3 down the stretch in that game, got to the free throw line, maybe should have gotten a foul there at the end, but like I thought that version of Nelly, even though he wasn't as efficient, I was okay with the shots, and you saw a much more confident and assertive version of him. And it's clearly carried over into these last 2 games where he's made a higher percentage of his shots. So to your point, he's going to still have a game where he goes, 6 of 17 or 5 of 14 or something like that. Or maybe like DJ Wagner, 4 of 13 last night or whatever. He's going to have games like that. But I think you can consistently run your offense through him. Arkansas has done it the last few games, and they've played better offense than they've played all year. And so I think he'll have his ups and downs just like any other player does. But moving forward, I think Arkansas has clearly found something on offense with Nelly Davis. And I think clearly he's going to be a guy that everything kind of runs around.
I also like the fact that, just looking at his stats last night, obviously 24 points, 7 of 15 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3-point and free throws and all that. It's great, but there's just something about a guy where he plays 39 minutes and he has the ball in his hands a lot and there's only 1 turnover. Like, that's what I love to see. Mm-hmm. And also having 4 steals in the game. Like, I mean, he's not going to get a bunch of assists. I think he had 2 in the game last night, but that's just, I mean, as cliche as it is, that's what I wanted out of him this whole year, is just to be that guy where you hit your open shots. You had 5 rebounds. You just go out there and you play, and you play basketball, and you got some really good things going, and you're counted on. And that's what I want to do. And I'm getting close to the point, man, where, game on the line, let Nelly Davis do it. Like, if Arkansas and Alabama comes down to the wire on Saturday and Arkansas's got the ball in their hands, it's a tie game with 10 seconds to go. I want to see Nelly Davis with the ball in his hands. I want to see him taking the final shot, because of what he can do and what he can create and everything. So I just want to see it. I
want to give us credit, because when we had this exact conversation, it was between the Georgia and Oklahoma game. And we were like, who would you put who are you giving the ball to at the end of the game? And everyone, the votes were unanimous for Adu Thero. And we all love Adu Thero. We kind of shared our sentiments there. We all said, actually, I think Nelly, and I actually even threw Big Z in the mix there at that point in time, which was really a crazy take at the time. But if you look at it in hindsight, Big Z and Nelly are the 2 guys that have helped kickstart this offense. They're the guys that, from a shot-making standpoint, teams really have to adjust the way that they play around those guys, and it's made guys like Adu Thero even better and more dangerous.
No, that's a great point. Let's go ahead and get into one of our favorite segments of What to Watch For, presented by Bryant Technologies. They're dedicated to delivering high-quality service and network infrastructure, as well as security camera solutions, to your home or to your office, to your business, wherever it may be, where they take pride in their exceptional workmanship and commitment to keeping your business operations seamlessly connected and secure. It could be structuring, cabling, security camera installations, digital signage, even TV mounting, which I saw somebody say TV mounting. Anybody can do that. Can they? Can they do that? Because I've seen some pretty sloppy jobs there on the TV mounting from people I know. So have the professionals do it, because they're going to have you covered. They service the entire state of Arkansas as well as the surrounding states. So even if you're in Texas, Oklahoma, Missouri, wherever, they can help you out. So give them a call today at 870-883-0330. You can also check out their website at bryantstechnologies.com with that S in between them, bryantstechnologies.com. It's Bryant Technologies, quality work guaranteed. So what to watch? I actually had a few things here I wanted to jump in, but I figured since people in the chat were asking about it, and it is something to watch for maybe more this weekend. I think one of you guys maybe highlighted it from Hickory Hogs. Says they hired the hype man from the Jim Backs game for Saturday night. Heard he was good. Maybe it can add some energy. So yes, the guy that we actually met at Alumni Hall the last time we were there, he's going to be the hype man. And here's the deal. I know some people even brought up, it's like, oh, did John Williams get fired? I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just a one-off or whatever. But I will say, after going to that gymnastics meet a couple weeks ago, which I'm actually going to the one again on Friday night, that dude's got energy. That dude makes it fun. And so I'm going to be curious to see how that works in Bud Walton for a basketball game. Again, I don't know how much it's going to matter or if anybody will even notice. But yeah, I'm going to be watching for that and seeing how much the excitement plays up and the energy plays up with him doing it.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool. Like they've probably heard enough of people pissing and moaning about it to where they're trying something different. I'm fine with that, but I'm also very much of the camp of, I don't care what, I don't care what DJ Derrick is playing. I don't care about the Whataburger tic-tac-toe game. I don't care about any of that. It's like, it's just, now fans have a reason to be, you shouldn't be thinking about what's going on during these breaks because you're excited about basketball again, because the team is doing their part now. You got a big opponent coming in. The atmosphere is going to be charged up. like don't kill the vibes or whatever. But I really just don't think it should matter in a game like this at all.
I agree. I think you shouldn't be relying on anything at this point to get and so all the things that people would point to as reasons why the atmosphere stinks. All those games that we talk about, like whether it's the Auburn game or the Kentucky game with Coach Cal or whatever, they all had those same ingredients, and we somehow found a way to have a great time and get excited. So I agree. Like, it's probably not quite as big of a deal as a lot of people make it out to be. But I will say this. That's the one thing gymnastics meets have always had, that interaction with the crowd, and like they get fired up there. It feels like a big event to the point where you're like, holy cow, like I need to be more psyched. So they do a great job. I don't know if that translates to, basketball, Bud Walton, same type of crowd, same type of thing. But I think Corey does a great job. And so it's going to be interesting to see if fans really do get as excited as they are. Because I know I've seen a bunch of people. I didn't really realize what was happening. I didn't read the tweets, but it seemed I saw a bunch of people excited about it. And so if it makes the fans excited, cool, go for it. I'm all for them trying something different. But I agree wholeheartedly that it shouldn't dictate your level of hype, whether or not the guy in the microphone yells at you or not.
No, and I agree. I also, in the defense of some fans, though, it's like, the fans feel like they can only do so much to help the team win. Like people want to feel like they have a say or they can dictate it or help out. And if they can't help what the team's playing, like when they're playing terrible at home or whatever, it's like they at least want to feel like they have control over, all right, well, how the stuff surrounding it. If we can't have control over the team and the roster and how good they are, we want to at least feel like we have control over what's going on, the type of music that's happening and everything, because we're paying a lot of money for these seats, da-da-da-da. That's just how people are going to be. But it's not going to be like, hey, if our Arkansas beats Alabama on Saturday, it's not going to be because Corey was the hype man. Like it's not going to be because of that. But I do understand that people just, they want to have their voices heard. They want to be entertained and everything. And if they feel like this is what's going to help them, then okay, that's fine. But I will give credit that the U of A is at least kind of listening to them, I think, and trying to try some new things. So we'll see. But I will say I'm going to be that guy where if Arkansas does win against Bama, don't change anything the rest of the year. Corey has to be there every time. You got to wear the same uniforms. Cal better wear the same. He better wear that same blazer. I don't think he will, but he better wear that same blazer he wore last night because that was pretty sweet. I hope he does, but I'm superstitious. I'm not stitious. I'm just a little stitious. So
that's definitely a new one in his wardrobe. I wonder if when he was in Lexington, he went and saw his guy or something.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Just got hooked up with enough suits to get through the rest of the season. I'm anxious to see what he rocks with on Saturday. And you know what? I also noticed, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but when we were in Rupp, like the pregame buildup, that was going to be good anyway. But in game, I thought it was some of the same stuff. It was bad. Just like they had a really hard time with it, and they had strategically picked the time for Tubby Smith to come out there, and it was just like at the worst time possible. Arkansas just went on a crazy run and just kind of shut everybody up. So that didn't get them the juice that they wanted. The halftime music selection at certain times was like, what are we really doing here? They screwed up the CATS thing that they do right there at the very beginning. People were looking around like, what is going on? So like it's a lot of places have some struggles with that, I think.
It's an epidemic. Yeah. It's an epidemic across the SEC. I will say, going back to the Rupp thing, though, it was kind of crazy. They had fireworks going off in the ceiling, like at the starter lineup, which I'm like, that's cool, but it just seems so dangerous. I trust the pyrotechnics, but I was like sitting there.
Curtis and I had a good view of the ceiling, too. We were right up there by it. We could feel the heat from the fireworks.
We were above the scoreboard.
Yeah.
We were above it. We were looking down at the scoreboard. It's crazy.
I know. I wish you guys, I'm not saying you should have anyways, because they probably wouldn't let you bring it in. But man, to just have like a video camera of y'all's like point of view and hearing the things that like you heard around you was just, I'm sure you could have made an entire show about that stuff.
We would have definitely had to click the "this is not made for kids" button on the video upload. But
yeah, absolutely. Shout out to our guy Whitty for super chat. Says, I haven't washed my lucky Razorback pants since the Kentucky game.
Good.
Whitty, you just haven't done laundry. That's really what that is. You didn't do that for a superstition. You just ain't been cleaning your stuff. Yeah.
Whitty, I mean this in a funny and non-insulting way, but I could totally see you going out into the yard with your washboard in a big bucket, like the old times used to have, and just scrubbing them down.
Old school kind of guy.
Yeah, old school. Like the simpler times. But yes, I don't even know. Have you guys ever had a lucky in your mind, a lucky shirt or hat or anything like that? Like, has that ever been something you've done?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all ready for this one?
Yes.
In 2009, I went to Razorback baseball hitting camp, and they gave us these cool little shirts that say Razorback baseball. Later that year, I had my first kiss at a Pineville High School football game under a tree, and I was wearing that shirt. And so anytime for the rest of that year, if I was going to like a gathering, going to a party or whatever, I'd slip on that Razorback baseball shirt. And that's how my career as a ladies' man got started.
Very cool. I will say that the only one I've ever had was they called it authentic, and which it was a jersey, but it wasn't like a game worn jersey or official jersey. It was just, I guess, made with better material, but it was a Matt Jones, a white Adidas Matt Jones jersey. I still have it to this day. I wore it to every Razorback football game. And for a stretch there, I felt like every game I went to, Arkansas won. And then I started wearing it to basketball games, and they kind of did the same thing, which was weird because I'm wearing a football jersey to a basketball game. Anyways, I thought that was it. I thought that I had to wear that every single time. And I started bringing it back after COVID. 2021 really went well. But then in 2022, I retired it because it didn't go well anymore. So, yeah.
Shout out to the Toledo. Are they the Rockets? Toledo Rockets.
Yeah.
I used to have these really horrible like checkerboard pants shorts. They were like shorts that were red and white checkers. And I can't remember where I got them. But when I was 15, I was like, these are cool. Like, this is awesome. And Arkansas in 2014 won those. They won a bunch of games down the stretch, got hot. And so I was like, going into 2015, I was like, these are going to be the lucky shorts. And so I wore them week 1, they win. And then I wore them to the Toledo game in Little Rock, and they lost. But the Toledo, so they officially kind of cost me that. I didn't have to wear those god awful shorts anymore.
Well, Curtis, I want to guess what yours was. I want to see if I can get it. If you can give me a hint, is it a shirt, a top, like or like shorts?
Well, it's a more recent thing. It's a top.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to say it's like a North Carolina blue, like hoodie. I don't know. I was just I thought for some reason it was going to be something blue. What is it?
It's not even that exciting. I wear the same polo every NCAA tournament game.
How did I not know that?
Well, so far, you go back and look at some of the videos. The same black polo every time.
Huh.
Yeah, they spaced the games out enough where you can pull that off for sure.
Yeah, get a day in between. You know, you can wash it or at least hang it up and get the smell out. And then,
then you get a week after that. You definitely should be able to get a wash in there.
Yeah. A shout out to us. Speaking of at the Airbnb in Lexington, I think we did 2 loads of laundry.
Yeah, we did a good job.
Yeah, we made it work. It doesn't matter anymore because now all my clothes are gone. But it was
little did you know you'd never see those clothes again.
I know. Golly, man, it's just I could just go on and on. All my good Rhobacks, my bird dogs, my good jeans from Madewell. Those are my favorite jeans. It's gone. Anyways, enough pity partying.
Shucks.
I know. Let's see. Go into the chat. Okay, so Finch brought this up. Did y'all check out that new song somebody made of Cal versus Pope? I have not seen this. Have y'all?
It came from the talk. It's pretty good. I might actually see if I can go find it real quick.
Yeah, see if you can find it because I just want to see if it's like stupid and cringy or actually really funny or both. But yeah, definitely. I want to see that. Rusty Chestnut says, when can we get a live show in West Fork?
You let us know where we need to pull up, Rusty.
What's the go-to spot in West Fork? Where do they watch the games in West Fork? You know, like let us know though. I'm sure Rusty Chestnut still cracks me up.
I bet we're gonna get a great response to.
I have no doubts that we're gonna get a great response there.
We got to get Juan to cook us up a little burrito.
Yeah,
that's what I've heard.
All for it. Dave just says Nelly fired Noah.
Yeah,
the shooting
that
thing.
damn shooting machine, man. Yeah, and now if he comes back and is 1 of 11 from 3 in Bud Walton Arena, we got to really consider burning down the building. I think is where we're going to be at.
I know.
There's something wrong with Bud.
Yep. And then know what's going to suck is like it goes back to like even football. Why do they keep playing their worst at home? What has Fayetteville done to these kids where they're like, oh man, I get to sleep in the comfort of my own bed and I don't have to travel and I can just walk into the arena and have my practice facility. I think I'm going to play worse. That doesn't need to happen anymore. So,
Yeah, come on now.
yeah, start playing great in Fayetteville once again. Let's do that. Also, John Sullivan says, time to break this damn losing streak to Bama.
Yeah, it is.
True.
4 in a row. That's crazy. 4 in a row. Now, Bama's been good, but I just think back to how much those losses to Bama would stick with Muss.
Oof.
Like they would have won 12 out of 13, and he was tripping balls about a 1-point loss at Bama. We were at the Sweet 16, like off the record with Muss. Like they're getting ready to play Gonzaga or whatever, and he's like, dude, Bama game, damn it. Like it really, really stuck with that man. And I think that's part of the reason why Bama, we talked about, I guess it was last week on who we hate most in the SEC or whatever rival in our mind. It's Bama for me. Like he trained me to really dislike that program, which is not hard to dislike anyway.
Yeah.
So do you think Muss, and by the way, we love Muss, of course, we always will. Do you think Muss will be cheering for Arkansas Saturday? I would assume he'd be hoping they win, but do you think it would kind of like piss him off if Arkansas beat Bama?
It should, if they're trying to stay on the ahead of Arkansas in the bubble, which they are no longer. Which, by the way, I shared that poll from the other day with some guys on his staff. It was just in case you were wondering how the people feel about these resumes and how they stack up. But
Yeah. Well, it's kind of crazy because you said Arkansas lost 4 straight to Bama. We'll talk more about the Bama and everything tomorrow, but it's crazy to think Arkansas had actually won 7 straight against Bama from like 2013 to 2020. Like they just were doing really good against them. But speaking of Muss, are we allowed? You think we're okay, like the statutes of limitations, to maybe say things that Muss told us off record way back when? Are we allowed to do that these days, or you think we should probably still do?
I think we still got a little bit of time.
yeah,
A little bit of time.
yeah,
All I just wanted to bring up was his comments about Buffalo, New York, and Nate Oates and San Diego. But I'll hold on to that one. I'll hold on to that one until because the last thing I need is causing another hornet's nest to get stirred up and getting on. I don't want to get on Muss's bad side. I don't want to do that.
No, that's not a place you want to be.
Not at all. Not at all. Thursday nights also too, guys. Like I know there's not really a whole lot of. Why is it Thursday nights not have a lot of college basketball? Am I the only one that thinks that there should be a lot of college basketball on a Thursday night? Like I know that they have
back in the day.
Yeah, it's like why? I wonder if maybe this is a stupid question. It probably is. But like, would you rather have it to where, if you have a midweek off or if you have a Saturday off, like you're playing a Thursday night game and compare it? And I don't know. I wish there was just a way that you could, put some games on Thursday nights. Because like right tonight, you only have Maryland and Ohio State's the only top 25 team that's actually playing on Fox Sports 1.
Yeah.
But shout out to the Terrapins. That's what Maryland is, the Terrapins, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, again, if you want to hate watch, though, you want Maryland to win that game.
Okay.
Get Ohio State. Get those dudes off the bubble.
I hear Ohio State's really good, at least when they play Kentucky. Oh, actually, they're not. They're 13-9. Shameful. So
you could tell they're actually not that good because they beat Kentucky. Kentucky doesn't lose to good teams. They lose to just the most average teams in the world.
Yes, that's apparently true. That's apparently true. Instead, also speaking of that, there was a comment up here I got from Brandon. It says, I need to hear from these BBN losers. Jack Pilgrim is in shambles right now.
Or Jack Pilgrim, man.
He's definitely in shambles right now.
Yeah. And I'll say I love my guy Jack, but Jack reminds me of me as a Razorback fan. But since I'm a few years older than Jack, I understand, disappointment and hurt. So I've kind of grown a little bit more immune to it. But yeah, they're going through it now right over there, man. Because after that loss they took to Ole Miss, like it's one thing to take it to Arkansas, but then to follow it up with that Ole Miss loss, they are down bad over there. They are pissed. They are saying this team is unacceptable, blah, blah, blah. Whew. It's bad stuff going on over there.
I feel like all of our BBN commenters, which there aren't as many these days, but I feel like they all must just idolize Jack. Because pretty much everything that we hear from BBN in the comments, that's like Jack's entire vocabulary. Like everything, he would just kind of say all the same things. Like, oh, Cal can't coach the X's and O's, and he's going to bring in the 5-star and they're going to suck, and Reed Shepherd, like it's pretty much all. So it's like I get where I think they all got it from. I don't know if they got it from him or he got it from them, but it's like all the same type of narratives and dialogue that just get parroted over there. So I bet he's like a legend in Lexington.
Man, I mean, they're down so bad that I actually had a friend of mine who doesn't even cover any college basketball, but he just like reached out. He's like, I've never seen them like this. Like they are just really, really. He's like, do they want Pope fire? Because it certainly seems like it. It's like maybe they do.
If
But
they lose to South Carolina in Rupp Arena this weekend, that place is going to be.
As it
I'll
should.
get a sub to their message boards if that happens. Like I got to check that out.
We might go right back to Lexington. We might go right back and just kind of sit and simmer in it.
Mm-hmm.
just go into KS Bar and just do shows. You know, no reason to be there. Just hanging out and letting everybody know about it. Man, that would be something. That would be something. But again, I have zero. I don't really care in how much they hurt right now because it's fine and I enjoy it. I enjoy all of that. Also, Caleb said he wasn't NC State an 11 seed last year and made the Final Four.
Yeah, they had like zero chance of even making the tournament, right? And then they won the ACC or whatever, and then got on an all-time heater. DJ
Burns.
And if Cal wouldn't have lost to Oakland, he probably lost to NC State in the next game.
I just hate NC State. I always will.
Really?
Why?
Yeah. Because of 2021 baseball.
Oh, baseball? Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like basketball.
Yeah. No, basketball I don't care.
I'm fond of NC State.
No, basketball I don't care. Although I will say just one of those random facts about NC State. Wasn't that where Mark Gottfried went for a bit after he coached Bama? Wasn't he the NC State coach for a while? I think.
I feel like Keats was there for like our entire lives, basically.
It could be.
I think NC State might have the longest tenured coach in college basketball history. Keats was there for forever.
Oh, I could be wrong there. Because did you mention the name of the guy that was like this big dude that was there?
DJ Burns.
Is that him? Yeah.
He was like 350 pounds or something like that.
Yeah. No, that was fun. Okay. So thanks to Andrew, we do have that Cal versus Pope video here. I don't know what to expect. I haven't watched this. Curtis hasn't watched this, but apparently Andrew had watched it. But people in the chat were asking about it, so I guess we can go ahead and play this. How long is it, Andrew? Do you know?
I think it's like a minute. It's not long at all.
Okay, let's. Oh gosh. All right, let's see how this goes.
I spent years on the sideline back when Big Blue was all mine. Turned a irrelevant team around. LAD even won us the crown. I was jumping up and down like a clown, making all those dumbass fans frown. So Matt Jones sent me off to the Hogs, and I left and took all my dogs. Ran me out town, said I was a clown. But who's got the last laugh now? They all want it. Oh, said he was the dope. But who's that bitch's daddy now? Only thing them cats can do is score. Big Blue ain't got that blue blood anymore.
Wow.
I'm assuming that's the song people were talking about.
Wow. That is actually a lot better than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's
pretty
great.
Good.
That's great stuff.
I thought for a second when they mentioned Matt Jones, I was like, is there going to be an Inside Arkansas verse coming here? Yeah, I thought we might get a reference.
Man, I guess we haven't gotten to that level yet. We need to work on that so we can start being in rap parody country music songs and start getting our
Matt Jones rushed them out of town, and Inside Arkansas welcomed him with open arms. We nursed Cal back to health, and now look at him.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, Andrew, you write the lyrics and submit it to somebody. Yeah. Surely you know somebody who can sing.
I think Andrew just needs to sing it.
That's true. Andrew can't
sing. You got the mic. You can record it, bro. We'll get in the studio, get in the lab.
Yeah, Loki. We need someone to like cook up. We need someone on the beat for sure.
Yeah. Need somebody on there too, because what was it that they did that one song that was the what were they called, the triple threat or whatever about the Hey Grood? Do you guys remember that? It's for Gruden, and they did this. There was these like barbershop quartet, these three dudes. So Tyler Davis was one of them, who's on Twitter and pretty active. But they did this thing instead of Hey Jude, it was Hey Grood when John Gruden was being rumored for the coaching job. It was something. And then they ended up going on like America's Got Talent, and Howard Stern loved them. Just look it up sometime. It's pretty wild, but big Razorback fans. Jeez. So anyways, enough of that.
I always liked the guy who had the I'm a Believer song.
I'm a Believer. Yes.
When Bielema got hired.
Like a Reba knockoff or?
No, it's like the Monkees, wasn't it?
I don't know.
Reba, what do you mean Reba?
Like I know the monkeys, but her intro to her show. You guys didn't watch Reba back in the day?
I actually didn't watch the Reba show back in the day.
Yeah, I'll cue it up for you.
Okay.
My dad hated Reba, so I didn't get to watch any Reba stuff.
I've been to Reba's place in Atoka, Oklahoma. Great organization. I'm
That's
probably
why
gonna actually go there on my way down to Arlington for sure.
That's why I really thought you'd be hip to the tune there, but that's okay.
I apologize.
Apparently, we have a lot to watch for because we're gonna have to watch all these things that none of us know in reference to. So I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to watch the intro to the Reba show, and put that thing together. So, but yeah, appreciate Bryant Technologies being a part of it and being a part of what we do here at Inside Arkansas. Great people, and be sure to check them out at BryantTechnologies.com, which is a great little transition. Let's go ahead and get into your SEC update presented by Rhoback. Go to Rhoback.com. Use promo code HOGS by 20 for 20% off your first purchase. They have a great athleisure wear and everything. Trust me, I know I once wore it and that it was lost. I hope it gets found once again. But that's what I'm saddest about, honestly, is losing that because that's some great stuff. So check them out today, Rhoback.com. Promo code HOGS by 20 for 20% off your first purchase. Okay, so last night, guys, again, the Razorbacks took care of business in their game against Texas. But to kind of go into a few of the other games of note in the SEC. All right, I'm going to give Curtis credit. I don't do it ever, but I'm going to do it now. I was about to send out a text to you, Curtis, when Missouri was beating the crap out of Tennessee because I'm like, hey, you said Tennessee's going to win this game easily. Well, they did storm back and they did get the dub, 85-81. Tennessee wins there in Knoxville. As Missouri, I think, was up as much as 12 points, something like that. But nice little comeback victory for them. Scored 57 points in the second half, and Tennessee avoids going into the 500 mark of SEC play and is now 19-4, 6-4 overall in the SEC. You
just got to trust the building, man. Trust the building. Missouri's good though. I mean, I got to give them credit, but I was really wondering if we were going to have those hard conversations about Tennessee with Ziegler versus Tennessee without him, but he wound up playing really well. He showed up when he needed to.
He knocked down some big shots, and he needed to knock down some big shots. That 100% would have been the overwhelming reaction. Because look, like we're having the Boogie Fland conversation, which, by the way, it's just a reminder to everyone. This kind of stuff happens in sports a lot, like a weird amount, actually. Like hell, I remember when the Eagles won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles, and it was like. People, it kind of ruined Carson Wentz's career, but there's a lot of teams who like lose a key piece and then somehow band together and be good. But we're having this Boogie Fland conversation. Imagine if Boogie Fland came back and then Arkansas lost a game. Like that's almost what happened to Tennessee, where it's like it would really ramp up that conversation. Whereas like Boogie, we're just having it and we just will get to never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. I was even thinking like seeing Boogie on the sidelines. I know we talked about it, but I would say it was good to see him. But I don't know. It was just he was fun to watch. I know Arkansas's winning and it's great, so I'm not going to complain at all. But he still was a really fun player to watch. And,
if he comes back, you put him in the role you had Nelly in before.
Yes,
you hang out in the corner and shoot threes, dude.
Yes,
I'd be bringing him off the bench.
Yep.
Instead of Billy Richmond running the point off the bench, I'd have just Boogie Fland running the point off the bench. That'd actually be kind of intriguing, but I think we should just let that play out if it's going to play out. I still am skeptical that he's going to come back.
Yeah, I am too.
Or that it's even really a possibility.
I am too. The other game of note, not even of note, but last night in the SEC, Georgia curb stomps LSU 81-62, and golly, dude, that. LSU's 1-8, and I hate seeing that. It drives me up a wall. But wasn't that like it was a couple years ago when Arkansas lost to LSU to start SEC play on the road with Anthony Black and all them? Didn't LSU only win like 3 SEC games that year or something, and one of them was Arkansas?
Wound up not being great, yeah.
God, it's just I mean, again, it's moving forward, looking at the future. But golly, to see Georgia put it to them like that is pretty nasty. And so for your updated SEC standings, folks, for those of you who care, Auburn's still really good. Alabama's still really good, 9-0 and then 8-1 respectively. You got 3 teams tied at 6-3 with Florida, Missouri, and Texas A&M. 2 teams tied at 6-4 with Tennessee and Ole Miss. And then, man, you get into these 4 wins. There's a lot of Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, all with 4 wins. And then Oklahoma, Arkansas at 3 wins, LSU with 1, and South Carolina with goose egg 0. So, yeah, it's just so funny to see. We're talking about Arkansas being an NCAA tournament team and on the bubble, and they're like 3rd to last in the SEC in the standings. So
They're a game away from being like 7th, but
yeah.
Weird move, man.
Listen, if you beat Bama, man, I just want to beat Bama in something. That's the main thing. So, but yeah, we'll see how all that plays out too for that. And also, okay, I wanted to talk this a little bit about. I think we did yesterday or the day before, but I'm starting to see this spring games for football. It's part of your SEC update. Now, Texas is considering not having a spring game. It's like Nebraska with Matt Rule and saying all that. I want your guys' thoughts. Do you think a spring game needs to happen for teams? Do you care? Do you not want to see a spring game? Just what are our opinions on spring games in college football?
I do not care.
Yeah, I'm close to that. I don't know if I could go as far as to be like, hey, they need to have spring games. We've seen them kind of watered down a lot over the last decade or so. Some teams I don't even think tackle to the ground in spring games. And so like my take on it, I guess, would be like, why can't you just do that? Like have a fake Pro Bowl type spring game, but like, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're free these days anyway. Nobody goes to those games. Back in the day, I mean, there's some schools that still do. Ohio State, I know they get 100,000 people in there. But like, I remember back in the day when I was a kid going to the Arkansas spring game and there was 40, 50,000 fans there. There's maybe 10,000 that show up these days.
Yeah. I was going to bring that up because there was a time where it really mattered and people were really big on the attendance at the games. They're like, oh, we had 45,000. And I remember, I think it was one time Arkansas had, it was the Bielema days. They said they had 50,000. And I was there and I'm like, Jeff Long, no, there's not 50,000 people here. There's not 50,000. It's like, how would you even know? You're not like taking tickets. It's like you don't see the ushers with the yellow vest that older and dirt. They're one step away from being in a home, and you don't see them like doing a clicker thing for everybody that's coming in. So, yeah, I think that's what really like has ruined spring games now is when that got to where it mattered so much. It got to the point where like, oh, I guess we got to keep doing this because TV and stuff. Yeah, I'm fine with not having a spring game whatsoever. I think that spring practices are good because it's good for us and content and talking about it. But anything else than that, no, I don't really care about it one way or the other. So there is your SEC update presented by Rhoback. I appreciate
that
it.
Chad Morris spring game in Little Rock where it was raining.
Oh, dude.
That ruined spring football. That was the official death of spring football.
Yeah. Were you at that game, Andrew?
I was. Me and my dad drove up for that one. And yeah, that was a tough one.
Yeah. I drove down. I think I was in Fort Smith at the time. I was working there. I remember driving down and I got to be in the press box. What a concept. And I remember being there and I'm like, this might be the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. A spring game in War Memorial in 29-degree weather. And whew, yeah, it was bad.
You know how bad it was? Me and my dad were driving home and we were like, this Tyson Morris kid, he can catch some passes out of the slot, man. Duvois Whaley? I tell you what, dude, Chad Morris has got a team his first year. That's what we were doing. Cole Kelly, that's what we were doing. That's how bad that freaking spring game was. 36 degrees and raining. Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah. No, don't want any part of that. Okay, sorry. I wanted to play this as part of the SEC update. I almost forgot about it. A little bit more of a serious note. We talked about yesterday and dealing with the Greg Brooks situation and the video that came out about him talking about Brian Kelly and his dad saying that there's not been any contact. Brian Kelly addressed this. And I just wanted to play because, get the full context about all of it. Brian Kelly was speaking about this in a press conference yesterday and about the accusation that he has not visited or talked to Greg Brooks.
Many things I can't say because it is pending litigation, obviously. But here's what I can tell you. It is factually incorrect to state that I was not there by Greg's side through this ordeal. I was there on multiple occasions. We had somebody from my staff that was there virtually every single day. We love Greg. We love him for the person that he is, for the competitor that he is, and the battler that he is, and can only wish him continued progress as he goes through an incredibly difficult time. But it was important for me to set the record clear as to my care, my love for Greg Jr. during this very difficult time.
Okay, so there you have it. That was Brian Kelly and his response to it all. So, I mean, again, I know it's a tough situation, tough thing to talk about, but I just wanted to make sure everyone knew all sides of the story and where it's coming from. So
That's why I said what I said when we talked about it the other day. It seems like once litigation becomes a thing, like you can't speak to someone who's suing you or whatever like that. Like it becomes a deal where he probably didn't really have a choice. That was something decided by his lawyers. But yeah, it would have been a horrible, horrible look had he not been around when all that was going down. But I just have a hard time thinking that was the case, and clearly so does he. So
yeah, it's I mean, this situation, if it wasn't already from the very jump, it's just a really touchy, sensitive, tough conversation to have. And I think that I'm not saying like none of us should ever talk about it. But that's again why it's like it's hard to go out on a limb and definitively be like Brian Kelly sucks and is going to hell. Or even if there's LSU fans that are coming out and aggressively defending Brian Kelly, I wouldn't even say do that either. You know what I mean? Like I think it's just one of those situations. It's a bizarre situation. It's a very unfortunate situation, especially from the Greg Brooks side of it. Like that sucks. We can all agree on that. But in terms of like their personal communication and their personal relationship, it's really tough for any of us to speculate. And so the Brooks family told their side, Brian Kelly told his side. I guess we're all at this point, we're all supposed to just decide who do we believe most in the he said, she said. But I for me, it's just like, I think this situation just sucks, and it's kind of unfortunate that it's blown up to this level, and there's so many layers to it. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens and what transpires with this particular story. But on a lighter note, let's go ahead and get into what's more likely, presented by Bet Saracen, the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas, for a reason, because they're the best at it. They're always going to have specials, always going to have prop plays, everything for Razorback sports, other in-state sports, Super Bowl coming up. They have it all. So check them out and get to winning some money at Bet Saracen by downloading the app on your iPhone or on your Android, or you can check them out online at betsaracen.com. Okay, guys, I just have a few. So if also, I always want to say this to people in the chat. If you want us to have if you have your own little what's more likely little question, submit it and we'll try to read it and see what we think about it, because sometimes it's fun to see what you guys have to say too. But all right, so let's do a little bit of this. What's more likely? Arkansas to beat Alabama this Saturday, or to beat Texas, LSU, A&M, and Mississippi State?
beat Alabama. It's one game.
Yeah.
It is one game, and that is 4 games.
And let's not act like Bama is just steamrolling everybody that they play in SEC here. Like they won by 5 at Rupp, they won by 4 at Mississippi State, they won by 6 at A&M without Wade Taylor. They got punked at home by Ole Miss. Like they're very, very, very good. Don't get me wrong, and super talented, but they've been in a bunch of close and competitive games. Like I'll take Arkansas's chances in getting that one in a crazy atmosphere in Bud than I will all 4 of those games that I think that they probably have a better chance, obviously individually, of winning.
I mean, hell, Arkansas might be favored in 3 of those games. You know, against Texas at home, you'd assume they'd be favored. LSU at home, you know, unless Vegas really puts a lot of stock in that one game, I think they'll be favored in that one. Mississippi State's going to be close. I mean, whether they're favored or not, it'll be 1 or 2 points. But I agree. I think the A&M game on the road, you could actually make a sneaky argument. Like, is that almost as hard as the Bama game? Like, it's not. I think the Bama game is probably harder because I just think they're a better team. But I mean, going on the road, not that A&M has this super daunting atmosphere, but they're 6-3. They've been pretty steady in conference play. Like, they don't really give games away a ton. They've got Wade Taylor back healthy. Like, they seem to be playing some decent basketball. I agree. I think beating Bama is not necessarily like likely. I'm not expecting it to happen, but rather than going 4-0 in that stretch, I would love to imagine that 4-game stretch is a guaranteed 4-0. But I don't know if I can go there just yet.
All right, so how about this one? What's more likely? Auburn to win the SEC regular season and tournament, or Arkansas to go to the NCAA tournament?
Arkansas to go to the tournament.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just that's a 50-50 proposition, frankly, right? But now you're saying the SEC tournament, right?
Yes, that's what I meant. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, and Auburn's definitely going to win the regular season.
Yeah,
Um,
it feels like they've already clinched.
right. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I wonder odds wise if Auburn will be like minus 110 to win the tournament when it rolls around. I feel like it's probably slightly less than 50% that Auburn does both.
Yeah.
And Auburn, I mean, in Arkansas's literally, according to all the metrics, all the everything is a coin flip to make the tournament.
Yeah. I would say it's probably more likely to Auburn to win both just because I think Auburn's that good and I just don't see anyone stopping them. However, it's March, it's madness. You never know what's going to happen, even in conference tournaments on occasion. So, I'd feel that. And then finally, this last one, what's more likely to happen? Razorback basketball to win the SEC tournament or Razorback baseball to not make postseason play?
I mean, listen, there ain't no disrespect. There ain't no way Arkansas baseball doesn't make postseason play. I'm assuming you mean NCAA tournament. Well, I guess they couldn't miss SEC anymore. They're bringing all 16.
Yeah,
but,
when I'm saying postseason, I mean
sure.
field of 64
for sure. Although, I mean, it is kind of crazy that in 2016 Arkansas even missed that the SEC baseball tournament. But they'll be. Worst case scenario is like 7 guys get hurt and Arkansas is a 3 seed in the TCU regional.
Somebody else's regional, yeah.
Yeah.
And then they win it.
Yeah. They probably make Omaha in their worst case scenario.
I don't know, just because how tough it is to win, and with the league being as good as it is in basketball this year, it's like, well, you just got to win one. You got to get hot at the right time and get matchups. But yeah, and I just don't. But Razorback baseball, I don't see it happening either. I don't know. That's why I just wanted to throw it out there because I don't see either one of these things happening. But
no, we went from one that I think both are going to happen, and with Auburn and Arkansas making the tournament, to 2 that I don't think either of these things happen. But I think Arkansas winning the SEC tournament, probably single digit % chance, but they could rattle off 4 in a row.
Yeah. Do you guys think it's more difficult to win the SEC basketball or the SEC baseball tournament?
Probably basketball, because although I don't know, baseball now is a different format, so we don't really know. Mm-hmm. But back before, where it was you had the double elimination section where you could literally go in, lose a game, and then still win the tournament. So I'd say basketball, depending on obviously where you start. If you get a top 4 seed, you're in a good spot.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would just make it to where it's but baseball needs to be single elimination for baseball in the tournament, just like in basketball would be nice. But yeah, I think both of them are pretty difficult. I don't see either of them happening. We got our guy Trey who submitted one here. He says, what's more likely, basketball to have a national player of the year or football to have a Heisman?
National player of the year.
Dude, it's not even close, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Cal recruits. That's one thing Cal's going to do is bring in extremely talented players who are superior to their classmates.
Mm-hmm. Not only that, but Arkansas's only had one player in their entire history of football that's gotten close to winning a Heisman. One. And don't give me that Joe Ferguson stuff. I like Joe Ferguson, but I don't consider finishing 6th in the Heisman voting as being close. So I'm talking about a finalist.
That's disrespectful.
No disrespect, but I'm just saying Joe Ferguson's probably watches us every day.
Isn't close, but I agree. I agree for the most part.
Yeah, but National Player of the Year, I'm pretty sure Corliss won National Player of the Year. I'm pretty sure for Arkansas, so they've already had one of those.
They've definitely had more that are close.
Yes, for sure. So appreciate that one. Also, a few other chats real quick. I guess Cats by 90, our favorite. Okay. Andrew, Kentucky didn't start to play well this time of year last year. Check your numbers, bro.
I'll check my numbers. I'll give you the numbers. How about that? So this time last year, Kentucky was 5-4 in SEC play. They were 5-4 1 year ago today, and then they lost to Gonzaga in a Saturday, challenge game. They lose 89-85, which meant they had lost 3 of their last 4. That was on February 10th. After that, they won 7 of their last 8 games, and they finished 13-5 in SEC play and ended up being a top 3 seed. How else would you describe? Because the argument I made was Kentucky really started to find their groove this time last year. I was talking about the Boogie Fland thing, and I was like, a lot of teams find their groove this time of year. Hell, Kentucky did it last year, and he is arguing that they did not play well this time last year.
I mean, it's February 6th today. And then from February 6th through the end of the regular season, they won 8 out of 10 last year. It's like,
Right.
I mean, I
Obviously,
don't know.
we're not saying the Oakland loss didn't happen. We're not saying that Cal is good at X's and O's, objectively speaking. And in that stretch, by the way, Curtis, and I know you know this, they scored like 112 against Alabama. They scored 111 against Arkansas. They beat somebody like 98 to something. They beat Tennessee on the road, and Tennessee had beat them in Rupp during the month of January. And so it's like they clearly found something. Did it last through the tournament? No, but like just objectively speaking, Kentucky started playing very good basketball this time last year.
Yeah. Also, I just wanted
So
to
suck it, Cats by 90.
Yeah, I was like, what else do you need? Like, for some, I don't know. I'm not saying all Kentucky fans have been like this, but man, there's been a lot of Kentucky fans that just either have a revisionist history on things, or they just like repeat the same crap over and over again about, Wagner and why they don't like him and all that stuff. It's just like, geez, it's very intense. It's very intense. Oh gosh. I don't know which one of you highlighted this one. Transplant text. What's more likely, John's Luggage to show up or the Bud to be an honest sellout?
Bud, to be an honest,
Bud to be a sellout. It's not even close. It's like minus 750, I think.
Dude, my luggage is gone forever. Like because here's the deal. At Lexington, it's not a big airport. They probably don't have a massive amount of bags that are in the lost and found. If they hadn't found it over the past few days, it's gone. It's over with. So yeah,
all of our equipment is at a pawn shop in Lexington right now.
Yep. Yep.
Guaranteed.
Also,
and they took all of John's Rhoback to Plato's closet. So,
dude, and they probably didn't get near enough money, and they probably got pissed. They're like, "Hey, is this all I'm getting for this? Come on, it's high quality stuff." No, that's. I'm just gonna say it, guys. I'm not gonna go into descriptions, all that. But remember when we walked up to the counter in Lexington? And it had that sign that says, "We're not here right now." And then a guy kind of like came from behind, and he looked like he was not the guy that normally works the counter. Just saying, like, I just got my suspicions about that because, that could have happened. But no, yeah, all my stuff has been sold. They probably made some good profit off of it, and it's the way it is. But all I know is we've all had bad experiences with stuff. This might be the worst type of experience anyone could ever have. I mean, just losing everything on your luggage and all that, and then dealing with the airlines and dealing with trying to get it back and having to wait for claims. It's just a nightmare. So don't lose your luggage if you can avoid it.
Brutal.
Yeah, but thank you. And also, Dalton's like, of course, John wears bird dogs. What does that mean? Like,
I don't really know what bird dogs are.
They're kind of like so they were a sponsor on my Locked On for a bit, and they sent me some free stuff, and it's the type of clothing. I think Barstool did it for a while, but they're the type of clothing that has funny names. They're athleisure, but like funny names, like instead of Tiger Woods, it's like a spinoff of keeping your balls dry or something. I don't know. Anyways, doesn't matter. They're nice stuff. So I just love that everyone's just like, oh yeah, of course you'd wear that. Shut up. I'll wear what I want. All right, let's go ahead and get into the Arkansas update presented by Davis & Garrett Insurance, your independent auto owners insurance agency, securing what matters the most. Talked a lot about the Razorback basketball team from last night, but for Razorback baseball, though, 9 Arkansas baseball games are slated for national television in 2025. As you have the game against Vanderbilt on March 28th on the SEC Network. You have the game with Missouri on the SEC Network April 4th. You also have April 8th, Arkansas State at Arkansas. That game's on the SEC Network.
Midweek action on the real TV.
Man, yeah, Arkansas versus Sunbelt or whoever it is. Don't get that. But how about this? Little Rock at Arkansas, also on national TV on the SEC Network at 5 p.m. on April 23rd. Arkansas at Florida at 2 p.m. SEC Network. And then the Texas games back-to-back on May 1st and May 2nd are on ESPN2 and then the SEC Network. And then Arkansas at LSU, 5:30 on May 10th. 3 o'clock on May 11th, both on the SEC Network. So you don't have any games on national TV when you play Tennessee, the defending champs, but you do have the games against Arkansas State and Little Rock on national TV. So
makes sense.
Great. Great.
Yeah. I mean, in real life, though, like most of us watch on the ESPN app, I would imagine. I know there are some people that like actually still have cable and all that, but if you're watching most of the games all year on the ESPN app, once you're on the app, it really doesn't matter. So all this stuff is always cool to note, and it's always cool for like when people ask. But like for me, it's like they'll all be on the ESPN app.
Yeah.
All that, because there's, I mean, literally 50 games are on SEC Plus, and so it's like, might as well get used to it either way.
Is Arlington still Flow Sports, or are they
Sure
over that?
is.
Awesome.
That's honestly, that's a big part of why I was like, should I go? Should I not go? We've gone a few times. I'm like, I mean, you're gonna have to pay for Flow Sports anyway. Might as well pay for gas and just go down there.
No kidding.
Yeah, because everybody, they forget to cancel their Flow Sports and get charged for the next few months on it. It's just a tale as old as time.
Which, by the way, if you are doing the thing where you're buying Flow Sports, I really genuinely would not encourage it. I would just find a stream somewhere. I'm being dead serious. And I know somebody on the Discord who's got plans in the works. I would buy it a week early because there's games on next weekend. It's like they do 2 weeks worth of stuff in Arlington. Like today on the press conference, it was like Auburn and Oregon State and all these other schools that are also going to be in Arlington next weekend, and then Arkansas will be there the weekend after. But go ahead and get it early so you can get your money's worth, I guess.
Also, like this from Ryan talking about Flow Sports. He's like, we got 17 subscriptions amongst 5 families in my neck of the woods. So.
Yeah, see that's you got to consolidate. Just you got to have a watch party somewhere. I'm pretty sure Foghorns plays the games like in Fayetteville. So I don't know if they're going to do that again, but they've done it in years past.
Also, Ray, real quick, speaking of baseball, I want to read a few of these to you guys as far as the events that they have for the weekends, like for in Fayetteville. I want to see if any of these like really do it for you. Like ones you're like, hey, that's pretty cool. Like for instance, the opening against Washington State at Baum Walker. If I said Bud Walton, I meant Baum Walker. You get a 2025 schedule magnet the first game, a baseball beanie in the second game.
Okay.
I know
you mean a basketball Benny.
Gosh. The third game, I know everyone's going to be about this. Bark at the Park. You know, it's a big one. It's very popular. And then kids run the bases on that Monday game. And then later you play Portland. You get the baseball card pack. It's 1 of 4. Kids run the bases there too. So nothing there. And then South Carolina, you get bases loaded pint glass for the first 1,000 fans, as well as a commemorative print. No idea what that is, but it's commemorative. Another kids run the bases. I got to stop with the kids running the bases. Then a baseball pack. The Brew Pig Suey against Missouri. So may get there. And then you got Junior RBI Girl Day. Nah, not for us.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then you got Texas A&M when they come to town. You got the Letterman Rope Cap. It's a Woo Pig weekend, by the way. Letterman Rope Cap, baseball card pack 3, and then a stadium stripe out for the A&M game. And then you have Tennessee. It's a fan appreciation weekend. You get the final baseball card pack, post-game fireworks on that Friday game. And then Saturday, which might be the thing I'm kind of interested in the most, the replica bullpen cart. You get a replica bullpen cart for the first 1,000 fans.
That's pretty sweet. Them fireworks, when they whip Tennessee's ass on that Friday or Saturday night or whatever, them fireworks are going to hit.
Yeah. I thought they did fireworks every Friday. Am I making that up?
They'll do it on rare down the stretch. They'll usually pick one weekend a year.
Okay. I know what I'm thinking of.
They did it for the Florida series in 2021, and it was like the best thing ever.
I'm thinking of when I was in Little Rock, the Travelers. They would have fireworks every Friday night. So there you go. That's what I'm thinking of. So
I was gonna say, when you were reading that, it really sounded like a minor league team's promotional schedule, like in terms of just how consistent they are with stuff. I'm all for that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I still
would like a dollar beer night or something like that. You know, maybe something along those lines, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do that. I still have it here, and they won't ever do it again. But you know those little like miniature wooden bats.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I
have one of those. They're never going to do it again because they're afraid people will hurt each other. And I'm like, okay, like you could do that I mean, someone could throw the stadium cart or the bullpen cart replica on the field. It's like you're not going to ban
one of
that.
my favorite gifts I ever played with as a child was a wooden Alexandria Aces, which was a like independent league team in my hometown. And I had a little wooden bat. I used to play with that sucker every day from ages like 8 to 14.
Yeah, it's the small stuff like that you remember that keeps the kids interested in all of that. Oh, also the Texas weekend is the Hogs weekend.
Nice.
So,
very good.
I was wondering, Rick Nomura was saying he was going to be there for the Texas game, and like I didn't really think much of it. But then when I saw this, I was like, oh,
yeah,
you're having
those alumni hall Hawaiian shirts are going to come in handy that weekend.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Yeah. Because they, it's actually the AAPI Heritage, also Little Hogs weekend. And then I also forgot they have on that Saturday game against Texas, Island Connect Hawaiian shirts for the first 1,000 fans. So,
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, that's something, since we're going to be at Alumni Hall tomorrow. Do we go back to the Hawaiian shirts? Do we try it again? Do we try to bring it back, or do we? It's going to be nice. The weather's going to be a little bit warmer. So
I just know we're throwing Curtis in one of them jerseys for sure.
yeah, we got to.
If I'm
We
getting
might
thrown in a
include-
jersey, I'm not wearing the Hawaiian shirt.
Okay.
Well, can we get you in the pins?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll do that.
absolutely.
Yeah, maybe that's what we'll do. We'll all wear a different jersey, kind of like last time when me and Andrew, since Curtis didn't get to do it. But
If Alumni Hall starts selling the pants and everything, I'll go full uni. I'll go full uni for the regional this year. I swear to God, if Alumni Hall starts selling the pants, I'm going full Eric Musselman for the regional.
yeah, coming with the cleats, and then have the lineup in your back pocket, and yeah.
Eye black fucking accessories, bro. I'm gonna be decked out.
All right, let me ask you guys this: if that happened, like, what's your number? Like, Andrew, like if you were getting, if they were like, hey, we're gonna put a number on here for you for the jersey, what number are you gonna be?
I need number 4. That was my jersey number back in the day, and just rolling with it.
Okay, number 4. What about you, Curtis? What number?
11.
Okay. Any particular reason?
That was my number forever until towards the end of my high school basketball. I made the switch to 23, obviously, but I was 11 in pretty much everything.
Yeah. So I was because I was a fat kid. I always played offensive line, so I always got the high numbers, and I don't really like those in baseball or anything like that. So I think I'd have to go with probably 5 for DMAC. It's just, I don't know, something about the number 5 I like, and everything. So because is Diggs 5? Isn't Kendall Diggs number 5? Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I also might wear DVH, like I might wear like a Van Horn jersey, which I guess he's back to number 2. He was 21 for that 1 year with Jalen Battles.
I still can't believe that happened.
I think I might actually do that. Just Van Horn, and I'll put his name on the back, like Van Horn and everything.
I can't believe that happened still to this day, that he switched to 21. And I just remember we talked about with because Jalen Battles wanted number 2. I'm like, dude, who had the stones to go into Dave Van Horn and be like, Coach, I want your number, and convinced him to let him have it.
Battles started planting the seeds. Matter of fact, Battles duped him really long. It was like a long con because everyone thought Battles was going to get drafted after that sophomore year. And he was like, low key though, what if I came back? Low key, like maybe number 2 if I come back. And I think he was probably planning on coming back no matter what.
Yeah.
Probably so. But yeah, that would be something if you could get a hold of, kind of like with Michael Jordan's number 45 uniform. If you could find a Dave Van Horn 21 uniform, like that would be pretty iconic and pretty legendary. So, all right, let's see just a few things before we close up shop and get out of here. Shout out to Ryan Day, who is now the 2nd highest paid coach in college football after their national championship. The only person he's behind is, of course, Kirby Smart, where he is now making $12.5 million per year for the entire deal. So,
and can't beat Michigan. That's crazy.
If I were him, I don't know. I don't know why they wouldn't just pay him more than Kirby just for the hell of it.
Yeah.
I just thought it always worked that way.
Well, he would have if he would have beaten Michigan. That's the thing. If you beat Michigan, you get the highest paid. But until you do that, can't do it. But Kirby Smart makes 13.2. And what's also funny is Dabo Swinney still makes 11.1.
Bro, if I was Ryan Day and I was going through those contract negotiations, I would put an incentive clause in there. Like, what do I get when I finally beat Michigan? Throw another $1 million in there. You really want it to happen? Motivate me.
That's tough because then it's like we shouldn't have to pay you to beat Michigan.
I won a national championship. You pay me for whatever I say you do.
Hey, but they wouldn't. If I were him, I'd be like, you didn't retain any of my staff. We're gonna have to replace the whole damn staff. At least give me 15 mil.
Yeah, where did Kelly go? Back to the NFL or something?
He went to the Raiders. He's gonna work for Pete Carroll on the Raiders.
That's an interesting.
He went to Penn State.
That's right. Yeah, it's an interesting crew, the Raiders.
Well, it's also interesting, just like the fact that how often that happens, where you lose both your coordinators, and one goes to a lateral move, and the other one goes to the NFL to also kind of just be the same thing. So it's not like they wouldn't become head coaches like normal. They actually just went elsewhere. So, all Also, real quick, did you guys see everyone on, speaking of Kentucky and Big Blue Nation, they're talking about Mark Pope's bloody hand. Did you guys see that last night in his press conference?
Yeah.
They're all like, oh man, it must have, because he broke up a bunch of furniture and everything. Because apparently he says there may or may not have been some destroyed furniture in the locker room after a recent game. He says he and the staff are trying not to be emotionally belligerent. This game begs you to lash out at your players, but that has limited results. So, yeah, apparently he has a laceration on his hand for breaking up furniture. Just going to be honest, guys. I don't think he's emotionally stable to handle this. I don't think he can do this.
Is he okay?
I don't know, dude. He's pretty sad. I mean, I would be too. If I'm
wouldn't
losing
let this information get out, if I'm being honest with you.
Yeah. And then who do you want to be? Because I don't know, like he's done the thing where he's like, I never let a negative word come out of my mouth, and everything's just positive to the moon. And, they had Godfidence or whatever, like when they went to Tennessee, like all those things. And then now you're punching whiteboards or something. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. Dude.
But I've heard a lot of Kentucky fans being like, we really need Mark Pope to start cussing and yelling at these guys.
So I think that's why this has become a thing, huh? That's why they're like talking about it so much. Hey, look at this clipboard I broke. Look at it. Yeah, there's a real laceration on my hand. I maybe that's what it is. But yeah, I like this. Is it Dark Pope?
Dark Mark Pope. The amount of different names and things you can throw around with Mark Pope just because they're two words that rhyme with a bunch of different words.
Everything.
It's really great.
Yeah.
But yeah, because now I saw somebody when talking about Pope and everything, some Razorback fan was responding to it. They're like, oh, this is Cal broke Pope and all this stuff. And then they said something about like, oh, well, you had Muss, who was the biggest baby of them all whenever they lost. I was like, yeah, but Muss was at least consistent with it. It wasn't like he was doing it for a show. That was just how he was. It's like this Pope doing this thing. I don't know. If I was a player and, my coach was a certain way, and then after a loss, he starts like throwing a fit and breaking stuff. I mean, maybe I'd respond positively, but also be like, what in the world? Is this guy losing it? Like, is he okay?
Y'all seen Old School?
Yeah.
When he's like in the locker room, he's like, we can't have everyone freak out there. We need to keep our composure.
Yeah. He's like, we've come too far for this. Yeah. That's great. That's,
chair up against the locker.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
That's what I.
What did he say? You said it while ago. Emotionally belligerent. Is that what?
Yeah, it's according to Tyler Thompson of KSR. Says Mark Pope on the Kentucky's recent losses. There may or may not have been some destroyed furniture in the locker room after the game. Says he and the staff are trying not to be, quote, emotionally belligerent. But this game begs you to lash out at your players, but that has limited short-term returns.
Okay.
Curtis, didn't that guy call us emotionally belligerent last night, Rufus? Isn't that what he called us on the post-game stream?
He called us emotionally something better than belligerent, but yeah.
He said eloquent. A lot of words, and we were like, whoa.
Talking about the British guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an all-time chat, man.
Yeah, I saw that. I had to go pick up a thesaurus real quick and figure out what I could do these words with also. But yeah. Again, shout out to Mark on the post-game show last night for that $500 for a super chat. That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. So, all right. Let's see. Anything? Okay. Tyler's asking, is Tyler a man or a woman? Tyler's a woman for KSR. So, but yeah, that's got to meet her for a little bit too. I didn't realize I keep having random KSR people follow me. I'm like, how many employees do these people have?
It's never ending. Yeah. They've got a lot going on.
Yeah. It's insane. It's insane. So, all right. Well, guys, any final thoughts, any final chats that we need to bring up? Anything like that before we get out of here?
No, I mean, I wish I had something real profound to say here, but I don't. It's just good to be talking after a win. The day afters are just so much better after a win, and I appreciate that. And I have a feeling that we're gonna be buzzing tomorrow at Alumni Hall, man. Excitement for this game coming up. People are gonna be in there getting their gear. It's gonna be a good time. Looking forward to it.
For sure. My final thoughts, as always. Tune into the Bombastic Podcast. Yesterday, we did a little bit of a weird episode, the walk-up song episode, and I'm surprised less people complained than I thought. I thought for sure there was going to be a ton of comments that are like, I don't care about the songs. Talk to me about the pitching staff or whatever. But people had some fun with it, so go check that out if you have not already. Appreciate everybody for tuning in.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And also, again, folks, as Curtis mentioned, we're going to be live at Alumni Hall tomorrow at noon, 3417 North College Avenue. So come hang out with us and get geared up for the weekend and shop them online at InsideArkansas.com/alumni hall. So that'll do it for us today. Be sure to subscribe to us here on Inside Arkansas on our YouTube page, as well as being able to subscribe to all of our podcasts, wherever podcasts are found, whether it's the Pod at the Palace or the Bombastic Podcast or Inside Arkansas Live. It's always going to be there on Apple or on your Android, however you find them. You can also check us out on social media, Inside Arkansas, and check out our website at InsideArkansas.com for all the latest and greatest up-to-date information on all things Razorback. So for Andrew Ellis and Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel. Tomorrow afternoon at Alumni Hall. Have a great rest of your day, everybody, and we'll see you then.